People power growth, but recruiting and onboarding are expensive, exhausting, and absolutely overwhelming. I've been there, and it doesn't have to be this way. Welcome to Hire and Empower. I'm your host, Molly McGrath. Join me as we interview leaders who care about their teams and distill powerful lessons from them. This show is sponsored by H&E, helping organizations to find their best hire and empower them for success. Learn more at hiringandempowering.com. All right. Today we are talking about a subject I am so incredibly passionate about: how to stop the revolving door at your front desk. You all know the unemployment rates. Right now, the unemployment rate in the legal occupation is ticking around 1.6% as we sit here ending Q4 2022. And job hopping is easier than ever. So, how can your firm keep employees loyal and engaged and stop the revolving door? So, in this economic climate, people keep talking about the great employee resignation. I am so committed to shifting that into the great employee restoration. In our law firm admin boot camp, we've been having, we're on week 10 now of a 12-week certification program. And in that program, it's a program I'm very, very passionate about. We have client service coordinators, receptionists, virtual assistants that are outsourced for marketing and or production. We have marketing coordinators in there, professional law firm administrators, C-suite, COO, CEOs in the making within a law firm that have goals of really running and taking over the operations for the law firm in there. And over again, we are hearing, what is really causing that revolving door of employees coming and going. And right now, you just cannot sustain or afford that for a small, mid-size law firm with very limited resources in regards to, we all know the stats of how expensive it is and how much a hire, good or bad, costs you. And not to mention the time, the energy, the frustration, etc. And as there's so many outside job opportunities available to your team members right now, and if that's not an obstacle enough, you have to worry about other firms poaching your top team members, luring them away with the promise of blah, 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 insert money, time off, benefits, whatever that might mean. And so I hear it every single day. We're sick of the employee resignation. We can't seem to keep people at this position. So I'm going to talk today about 4 proven ways to increase employee retention, engagement, and to really restore your team. Think about it. In my perspective, the front of the house, your intake coordinators, your client service coordinators, I like to call it the directors of first impression. That's the first stop in most business process of picking up the phone, whether lead comes in through digital and social or what have you, inbound, outbound, follow-up, whatever it might be. It's your team, your admin team at the front of the house. And if we can't get that rocking and rolling and consistent and persistent, I like to say our jobs as entrepreneurs, your job as an attorney, whoever's sitting in the proverbial conference room, meeting, greeting, and closing clients is irrelevant, because if your admin team at the front of the house, virtual and or literally in-house or in a hybrid model, if they're not doing an extraordinary job, then our jobs are irrelevant. We have nobody to meet with. And the biggest breakdown, the 4 ways that I'm going to speak about today, are tried, tested, and proven, and quite honestly, very, very simple. It just causes for the power of the pause for us to do a stop, drop, and roll on what we're currently doing and invest the time and intentionality to stop this crazy train. Is it possible? 1000%. If you're listening to my podcasts, you hear me talk over and over and over and over and over again about the firms that we recruit for and what we're hearing from people. Our greatest open rate is on our campaign with the subject line, are you happy? Are you being treated well? And are you being paid what you're worth? If not, let's talk. And nothing makes me happier than when I get a response from people, not interested, super happy where I'm at. That makes me so incredibly happy to hear that. And you would think that sounds crazy as a recruiter, but it gives me so much hope and excitement for the legal profession that finally we're really investing in employee empowerment, employee development, and really taking to heart, whether we were forced to, it was already embedded within our culture and our SOPs, that our employees, our people, are the greatest asset within our business. They can be the greatest liability too, but I'm taking a unwavering stand that they're the greatest asset. So 4 proven strategies. Number 1, you must get on board with your onboarding process. A good or bad onboarding process can make or break the amount of time your new hire stays in your firm. Over the first 90 days, you get your new hire up to speed on the nature of your firm, your vision, your core values, and you show them the ropes, equip them with the knowledge, authority, the tools they need to excel at their jobs, answer their questions, introduce them to their coworkers, integrate them into the culture of your firm. For our Smart Hire solution that we perform for many, many law firms for recruiting and hiring, we include a very detailed 90-day onboarding process that ensures your new hire has no uncertainties. He or she takes their role at the firm very, very seriously. They get it in their bones, they get it in their blood, and they're very, very clear that after the 90 days, it doesn't stop there, that we also have employee growth plans where we're meeting quarterly individually, we're meeting quarterly within strategic retreats. You have to remember, you are hiring human beings. And if you are a firm culture that constantly has a statement running rampant through your organization, we're so busy, then you really, really invite you to stop and eradicate that language and mindset from your culture. Because we'll hear from people so often that everybody's too busy. And that's a huge red flag for us when we hear that, 'cause we're like, whoa, 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 time out. There is a lack of structure within your weekly, monthly, quarterly, annual planning. If you're hearing from the new hires, or they say, well, I didn't want to bother anybody, I wasn't really sure who I should go to with X, Y, and Z. You have to get really clear on your onboarding process. In fact, I would say that before you even hire your next person. Number 2, remember this. Employees do not quit jobs, they quit bosses. And this has been in stereo since 2008. When people were laid off, and people are talking about the pandemic and the great employee resignation. This has been going on since 2008 and probably well before that. When you see breaks in constant quote unquote job hopping, or they don't stay anywhere for more than a year or 2 years or 3 years or what have you, we'll furnish resumes to law firms and they'll say, nope, I don't even want to meet with that person. They haven't stayed anywhere. They quote unquote job hop. And we're like, nope, you need to get on the Zoom interview with this candidate because you need to hear their story of why they have job hop. Could be a combination of layoffs. It can be a combination of more so the latter part, that they're leaving because there's a lack of leadership, onboarding. As the leader of your firm, your job is to lead, not manage. Your job is to coach, not manage. A good leader works aside, arm in arm with their team, staying late when we need to stay late, keeping their door open, having open door policy, doing daily huddles, do end of day debrief, allowing their team member to actually shadow client meetings and actually walk through the process. You've heard me once, you've heard me say it a million times. The best training process is teach, show, do, go, grow. Your employees will never leave. They'll actually take a bullet for you and go above and beyond the clock watch. And they're not the 459 employee when they know that you have their back. When you're consistently having the energy and the essence of you're approachable, asking team members for their feedback, for their input, and saying 2 little words that go really a long way. Thank you. These actions help foster an environment and a culture of mutual respect, whereas barking orders and micromanaging your team members or ignoring them, which we hear more so than even micromanaging anymore, then they will not stay. And resentment drives employees out the door. Confusion, chaos, lack of clarity. You have to remember you're hiring human beings versus human doings first and foremost. So if you're feeling like the proverbial revolving door is occurring in your firm, I highly recommend that you stop, get really present and honest with yourself in regards to how you've been showing up for your team. Have you been spending the time with them? Do we have an onboarding process? Is it possible that I was not showing up as the best leader and boss? And this is not to shame and blame you. I've been there as well. I know when I'm back to back on client meetings, and then I see that I still have to spend time with my team. I know in the firms that I serve as a fractional CEO for that go through our 66-day law firm turnaround program, which a goal is to create legal leaders leading leaders. When I interview everybody on the team, the number one thing I hear is a lack of time, attention, and feedback. So if you're going to run a business and you're going to scale and grow, this is a first order to stop that revolving door. In my experience, there really truly is not that many bad employees out there, bad human beings out there. And there absolutely are not constantly saying, well, I'll just take this job until the next best opportunity. I've yet to meet a prospective candidate or prospective employee or somebody who's already out the door say to me that they are, they're dying to consistently get a new job to climb the ladder. That's not even in their makeup. They are quitting bosses. They're quitting leaders. So take this as an opportunity as we sit here, as we're about to close the books on year end, and take stock. And there's a whole process to really getting your team to be honest with you. If you're getting a lot of yes checks and people nodding their head and not really having a tremendous amount of feedback, coupled with the revolving door in whatever position, by and large, it's typically the front of the house, the administrative team. And people believe it's because it's a lower level position. In my opinion, it's the most critical position, even above ours as an entrepreneur. even above your C-suite employees. Number 3, engage and empower your team members and start to use and interact with that terminology, team members versus staff. Engage employees know that their work matters and they feel an ownership to their firms and to their leaders. They take the firm's performance personally. They work hard to increase productivity and profit. I hear this in last Thursday in our open coaching session in the law firm admin bootcamp. We had 27 firms in there. The team members were coming when they're coming to the hot seats of what's working, what's not working, where you jammed up this week, over and over and over and over again. We were hearing from each person that stepped up to the mic that they felt like they care more than their business owner does, more than their attorney does about the clients, about the calendar, about the cash flow, etc. Like they're ditching meetings. I'm not getting feedback. I'm sending things for review and I'm getting nothing. They're ditching appointments and I'm losing sleep over this firm. A huge part of what we do here at Hiring and Empowering Solutions is to work with law firm leaders and their teams to improve engagement and empowerment across the board. And there are several ways that your firm can increase engagement. Set team and firm-wide goals that encourage teamwork and boost the collaboration. Equip them with the knowledge and tools they need to be authoritative and independent in their role. I always hear, I want somebody with batteries included. I want somebody who isn't consistently delegating up. I want someone who understands what it means to manage up and delegate down. And offer training and development. Enroll them, give me your team and let me put them through our 12-week law firm admin bootcamp. You can check it out at lawfirmadminbootcamp.com. It's the only recognized program that I have found, and that's why we created it, designed to engage and empower your law firm admin team. There's no shortage of coaching and training programs and masterminds out there for the attorneys, for the C-suites, even for paralegals, which makes me so happy in the pandemic. But the revolving door that's occurring at the front of your house, that's occurring with your marketing coordinators, that's your law clerks, your legal assistant, your receptionists, your client service directors, maybe even we have some PLAs in our program. Give them to me and let them have the responsibility and the authority and the permission to free you up. But here's the deal. Once we understand your permission standards, you have to give them time each week. And it doesn't take much for them to come back to you and to report on their path and plan, and for you to give the blessing, the thumbs up, the thumbs down, or where you would like to see refinement and improvement. We're not off the hook for not having to engage and develop a relationship with our team. We are we're in the personal and professional services. It's our job as entrepreneurs to help grow them up, to help lead them. And when you have a culture and environment of that, the revolving door stops and you no longer even use the term manage in your firm. I always say, if you're leading, there's no need for managing. Number 4, money isn't everything. So offering fair compensation is obviously important and crucial in this industry, and it's never going back or changing. But it goes without saying that most small law firms can't compete with big law firms' salary, insurance, bonus structure, Cadillac benefits, what have you. But I will tell you, I have had people leave those high-paying salaries because of the energy and the essence of a firm. So often I'll hear, we can't compete with big law firm. I don't want to hire this person because they worked in big law firm, or my job is the best because they're not in big law. They don't have the billable hours. They don't have the stuck in a corner like they are in a big law firm or what have you. I'm here to tell you that is no longer the case. Last week I was at a conference and I saw John Morgan speak of Morgan and Morgan, and I'll hear this from people all the time. Well, we're not, it's not like we're Morgan and Morgan in a bad way. They'll say this, or go hit someone up and try to poach from Morgan and Morgan because they're just a number. It's all about the billable hour there, what have you. It's not. I've tried to poach from some of these big firms, and the one that comes to mind is Morgan and Morgan, because that's typically the one that people reference so often. And we can't get their people to leave. Those are the ones that reply to us and say, nope, I'm super happy. I love what I'm doing, etc. I'm making great money and the culture here is amazing. So if you have the mindset that big firm has a horrible culture, that's no longer the truth. I'm here to tell you, we talk to big firm every single day. Now, some people will leave because they want to go back to the basics, so to speak, and they want to be part of something on the ground floor or something that might be beyond the infancy stage of their business. It might be because of location or commuting or what have you, but they're not leaving the mindset that big law firm. Well, when I was an associate, I know what it was like. Those stories are no longer helpful, and it's a cop out for us not to be fully, wholly responsible for how we show up. So offering flexible work schedules, the option to work from home, sometimes more paid time off can improve employee retention. And yes, many big firms do offer those big perks, but however, one thing that big law firm can't offer sometimes is the feeling in the energy, in the essence of being seen and valued as a leader. I always say we're responsible for the energy we bring in a room and we leave in a room. In a feeling of being important, you're invited to the table. I'm investing in you to become, I might be hiring you as a receptionist today, but I want to help grow you up. I want to invest in you, putting you in something like the law firm admin boot camp. That has been one of the best retention tools that we have seen since the pandemic. You're a valued member of the team. You're going to be invited to the strategic retreats. We do have employee growth plans here. You are being seen as a big fish in a small sea. You're empowering your team members to step up and lead and make a real difference at your firm. And you'll be giving them something that most law firms simply can't compete with because they're not offering it for whatever reason externally, where they're getting coaching, they're getting personal and professional development. Keeping your team members loyal, happy, engaged, and stopping that revolving doors of employees once and for all is imperative to the success of your firm. We all know how it feels when somebody comes in and gives their resignation, especially if they're a key team member. And typically we hear like, oh, I wish they would have came to me and shared with me, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're ditching their meetings. You're not replying to their emails. You're not showing up for the daily huddles. They've sent you 5 files that are still sitting on your desk for review. So how available, how approachable were you really? When's the last time you did an employee wellness check? We just talked about that process. I think it was 3 weeks ago in the employee, in the team, in our law firm admin boot camp, and the employees loved it. I'm like, guys, this is up to you. You put it on your entrepreneur's calendar. You need to start taking leadership of these things if this is what you want, but you have to create a culture of approachability. And you have to create a culture as law firm owners and leaders where it's already communicated to the team that it's absolutely acceptable, that we depend on our communication and our collaboration and anchoring to our core values and who we are. Because at the end of the day, we all want to be difference makers. We all want to make impact and income. We all want to be part of something, like really, truly part of something, connected to the heartbeat of your why, entrepreneur, of the firm's why. People won't leave. They absolutely, I know it, I've seen it. So if you want to stop the revolving door, start. Here's an opportune time. Hopefully you're conducting your year-end quarterly strategic retreats. Hopefully everybody is reaching and exceeding their employee-based and team-based, incentive-based compensation plans. And you're hitting all the marks and delivering on the rewards for you as a business, in addition for your team. So give me your team. Let's get them in the Law Firm Admin Bootcamp. You can go to the website, join the wait list. Like I said, we're going to be finishing up the 12-week program here at the end of November, and the next class kicks off on Tuesday, January 10th. So a great start to the new year. Just even having the conversation with them that we want to start reviewing our onboarding. We're going to do things differently here. I am highly invested in creating a culture and an organization of legal leaders leading legal leaders. So no excuses. If you're having the revolving door, if you want more information, get on my calendar. You can send an email, molly@hiringandempowering.com, and let's stop that revolving door. We've reached the end of another impactful conversation on the Hire and Empower podcast. Whether this was your first episode or you're a longtime listener, I know you can tell I have passion for people. Whether you're a business owner, employee, executive, or hiring manager, I understand the situation you're in. Hiring, onboarding, and leadership is expensive, exhausting, overwhelming, and if that's not enough, it's also time-consuming. My friends, it doesn't have to be this way. There is a team at H&E that has your back. For over 25 years, they've transformed over 4,000 law firms into efficient, effective, profitable assets for their business and made it fun to come to work again. Check out our Smart Hire solution, our employee leadership program, and the 66-day law firm turnaround at hiringandempowering.com.